All right, so next up we'll have Matt Clatterbuck and Carl Morgan. I believe this is Carl Morgan Sr., 649 Fargo, versus Matt Clatterbuck, 677. So, George, what do you know about Matt Clatterbuck?
Matt's been one of the more formidable players through this Mid-Atlantic area for a long time, 25 years. He's been a force in regional type events and state events in Maryland, Virginia. Always an excellent rotation player and a very good tactician.
I've heard people say that they said that this guy could have gone pro if he'd have just had time to go pro. And as far as putting effort in, he's got the talent.
But you see, unfortunately, and this is just the way. That's just the lay of the land. That he found he could do just about as well being a weekend warrior and working a straight job, and because not all that many of those guys make enough money that befits their skills and what they bring. It's a shame, but that's unfortunately the way things are.
Oh, look at that 10 ball just cuddling up in that corner pocket.
Because the nine is out there in the middle on the middle diamond, and he's a tactician. Don't get it twisted. He can twist balls and do lots of things. He's a good player.
Now, George, one thing I've noticed about Matt is when he's cueing his shot, he's always got his cue on the edge of the cue ball, and then he brings it back to the center and on his shot, like he's addressing it with the cue on the edge of the cue ball.
And the reason for that is that that's how he sets his line of the shot. In other words, he's got the cue down the edge of the ball, and see the edge of the ball is absolute. The center of the ball is nebulous.
I do not.
And
does not have hers over here.
The edge of the ball is very sharp and very defined.
Yes, you're going to be playing.
And that helps him with his sighting. And you'll see a lot of the Filipino players, and they do much the same thing. These guys that are 800 plus type guys that you see on TV. No good.
Is he playing the 10? I don't know if he called the 10. I don't believe so. No, spotting it. $675. Got it. Thank you. Do you have? Are you the junior?
Henry Chow, table 7.
No.
Henry Chow.
So $675. Little correction on the Fargo.
So these people, as even as the law allows, he's in the drill.
So Carl was not going to let me slide with giving him a lower Fargo rate there. He just wanted to set me straight.
That's all, Matt. These people are very vain about that stuff, especially if they're in an open tournament. If they're in an open tournament, they're going to have this, let's say, a vanity.
So we had George cut off again. They were hearing you through my mic, George.
Yeah, All I can say is I'm just sitting here and doing. I got my.
I'm asleep at the switch, George.
No, not me.
I said me.
Oh, well, I go back to the days where ballpoint pens didn't get introduced until I was in the 4th grade. So,
Rick, thank you for keeping us straight here on TTMD Billiard Streaming.
this is a good shot there.
So let me just go ahead and bring up that question, because Rick missed the question in your response to the sighting of the edge, using the edge of the cue ball. Would you mind repeating yourself? 'Cause
Sure.
folks missed that.
You see, I've been teaching the game for like 45 years, and one of the things I've always there are many people that sight down down the edge of the cue ball and just use that as their alignment tool with their back leg and along their back arm. And too often you see the center of the cue ball is very nebulous. In other words, but the edge is something sharp and something we can see and something that we can use as an alignment tool. Hopefully that answered your question.
Thank you, George. I noticed the first time I noticed that it was when I was watching Matt Clatterbuck at a DMV AT, and I was doing the stream there, and I kept looking. I'm thinking, am I seeing this? Is he always off the edge of the cue ball and then coming back to center? And it's something I guess I can't quite figure out, and how because I'm looking down. I'm using my cue as the sighting line, and I'm using the bottom of the cue ball to try to find center. But you're right. It doesn't really give you that accurate, crisp aligning aim point. I don't know. I maybe have to give that a go.
Here's somebody that struck him real hard, and we've been watching the play for what here, 7-8 hours now, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and Thomas, when he hit the ball soft, he was making the one ball up top and balls in the side pocket behind the one ball, and here's a real a decent opportunity for Matt. He's got to deal with controlling the 6-9. Nice touch. He's in the gap good. He's got. All right, you get an excellent look at this right now down this. Watch him right now. You're going to see him come down.
So tomorrow the doors are going to open at 9 a.m. You got from 9 until
And that's how he sets his alignment, and that's actually very old school to do it that way. I do it that way too.
Mr. Lee. Yours, you're not playing anymore tonight. You're in the final 16. We're only bringing knockout players back, okay? So you're top 8 on your side. Doors open at 8.
Rare miss there.
Sharp. Don't let Paul.
He kind of fell off of that ball. Like he fell off that ball a little bit.
So you can get here as early as 9. You can get here.
Fell off of it and went back on his heels.
Right? Good shoot today. Thank you.
Well, he was lucky he didn't get the kiss, as he might have gone right in the hole off the kiss. Let's see his touch here to the side rail. You're very welcome, Selvin.
Ball call.
Is that the 9?
Oh, 9-ball call. My bad.
Well, but this is good because the 6 and the cue ball are both going over to the short rail. Kind of hit that hard and rough. Now he's going to be on the rocket sled here. Nice touch there. Very good shot from Carl. Very nice. Out. Nice line. Nice out. Game apiece.
Oh, that was a good match too, man. So Matt, 2-0.
No, I got him.
Got him backwards. You
got him
confused.
backwards.
Yeah.
It's 1-1.
1-1.
I think so. Yeah, he dumped the ball in the hole.
Let me see. I'll just verify.
Right? 2-0.
Yeah. So we got it. 2-0 Matt Clatterbuck. Carl Morgan at the table.
Boy, that's a treacherous shot to slow roll the ball that distance.
Roger
Good
that, Rick.
They both got shiny heads. How's the speed, Trooper? Ah, no good.
Randy, I've heard a few people say that Matt should be up around over 700 for sure. He just doesn't shoot in many Fargo-rated events. And I think, as George alluded to, he found it more convenient to have his own games and stay out of the pool tournament scene for the most part.
Well, you see, he could pick his spots in regional events and stuff like that, and it just without sponsorship, it's just too darned expensive to go to a tournament with a $500 or $1,000 entry fee.
Yeah.
Then you got to stay there for 4 or 5 days in a hotel. You got to be in the top 6 to even break even.
Yeah, and we were having this conversation. I've been having it behind the scenes off and on, and we were all talking about how we want to try to grow the sport and how we want to try to get the money into the sport and inject it in there. And the bottom line of it is you have to get it from outside the sport. It can't be all from within the sport. You can't keep passing around the same dollar bills. So TTMD, what we're trying to do is use our business and our corporate sponsors, and we're looking to bring on technology sponsorships like a Microsoft, OpenText. These are big companies that we're looking to pursue to invest in the sport. So
I have a major league suggestion that the people have looked at me like I got 2 heads, but here it is on air. If we could ever, and you're a technology guy, I can only say if we could ever get an event like this where we can see exactly what the player sees in 3 dimensions, then you can get in the player's heart and soul. I can give it 60 years worth of experience and educated guess, but I still can't see what these players see. And I can't tell what they got to do to beat the Kiss. I got to tell, I can't even begin to tell you. That if they can develop something that get a light reflection off of a board where it's a 3-dimensional image is going to be projected off of what the player sees, then they might do something. Otherwise, when I watch all you guys that are sweating this action here, I know Rick is not a young man. Rick Glasscock's not a young guy. And I know Eddie Friedman before. He's going to be 80 years old, and he always loved to go to Derby City and all these places. He was a good player. But I can tell you this, that all of these guys would, when you watch the AccuStats videos and watch YouTube and all, and look at all the people that are in the audience, everybody has got a gray beard. You got no kids in the audience, and very few youngsters. It's nice to see some young players here, but the Thomas Haases and that other boy Werner, those are few and far between. We see Cohen Bell and some other guys, but most all these guys are 50 and up.
Well, what I will say is our area has a strong junior, a strong nucleus of juniors and young players in this area. At least more so that, at least that I'm aware of, and the Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania. This area, you got you have the people like Dylan Spoor, and you got Thomas Haas. These guys can play. They are the next generation of the top players.
I've already seen a couple of guys from Virginia. I've seen that Nathan Childress, that left-handed boy.
Yeah, you cannot take Nathan is a solid player. And,
he cashed in the international, and so did
Wolford.
Shane Wolford.
Yeah, Shane was he was at the a 10-ball championship that we put on last year, a $10,000 ad, and he was leading Earl Strickland. Not sure what the score was, but he was leading by at least I'd say 2 or 3 games. And then Earl started doing his stuff, chattering, and someone said something back to Earl about calming down, and then Earl just went on a tear, just started putting it on Shane. But ultimately, Shane pulled it out, kept it together, and I've known players that would just lost it, and for a young guy, he just stayed cool and did his business.
Those are nice people, the Wolfords. I'll put in a little plug for them. The Wolf's Den. They're down in Roanoke, Virginia. They got 10 diamond 9-footers and 10 diamonds bar boxes like these on each side, and they got a center strip where you can eat. A great bar, pro shop. Just a wonderful place. We went down there last year, on the APT. Back in August we were down there. It was a nice stop. But in general, they're trying to get the people, Ozzie Reynolds and Predator and all are trying to do some things, but they had five tournaments that that they had scheduled, with 10 ball and playing the European style, in other words, this 2 races to 4 and then a shootout if they tie at a race apiece, rather than that just one longer race. They're trying to maybe bring more players like this into the fold and get bigger fields, but I don't know. In the end, you're right, they do have to generate money from outside the industry, because the cue makers can only go so much.
And that's true. And primarily, the sport has been a cash business for a long time. And so you really can't go out and get sponsors and market to get sponsors if you can't write a receipt. So what you need to have is people doing business on board so that they can go out and do business with businesses and keep in mind, businesses like a Microsoft and OpenText and these technology companies, they have a marketing budget. They're about making their brand and selling more software, but it's not like the mom and pop shops that are mostly cash businesses, and when they go and spend $500 on sponsorship, they need to sell $500 worth of product because they're doing all cash. They're not writing things off, so you can see the quandary that we face, and it's kind of about that, getting people on board to do business.
Did that go long?
Do business on board so they can get good sponsors, healthy sponsors for the sport.
That wasn't his best. Right.
See how he's on the edge of that ball?
Yeah.
Now he was spinning it a little bit that way, I guess, but he's like that all the time.
Matt here is real consistent,
Yeah.
with watch where he puts his cue. I can't see now quite.
See. Yeah, there it is on the edge.
Did I hurt you, hon?
Oh, wow.
He gas at $3.59 a gallon. They must have been. He must have run out of gas.
So a minute ago, I got the gentleman confused again, as George did. When you're looking at this view, you see the back of.
I see the back of the head.
head.
And what was that old song, Blinded by the Light? Or they might have to go put me on charge someplace. I don't know. but until they can see what the player sees.
Sorry about that, gentlemen.
And we see what the player sees is when you'll stop having 300 and 400 people tops at any major event, and you can get a gate commensurate with the abilities that these people have.
So Carl watching Matt very closely.
This could be a scratch if he hits it hard enough. This is
Matt just going to go ahead and give it back to him. Now, 3 fouls. Maybe you can hit this ball with a little draw and spin it out there the same way you just went before.
yeah. He
Caught
made
it.
a mistake.
Yeah, yep.
Now
That was
now
it.
now he's going to be in the stew. He's going to be in the stew now. He ain't going to like this. He'll cut it up behind the 9. There's no side entry because of the 5 ball.
There you go. Good for the earbuds.
You're going to have to twist it. You can't fist it. Good shot. Things are finally opening up. He gave up the side rail, and he might be back in jail behind the 6'9". Uh-oh. Swish.
We are in the round of 17 to 24 right now. This thing moves great. It moves so great. We literally have one match strolling behind. Otherwise, we should be done all of these matches at the latest 11 o'clock. Absolute latest, we'll be down to 16 players.
And then we'll come back tomorrow.
Wow, so we just got word from the tournament director that things are moving along swimmingly, and we should be down to like the last 16 around 11 p.m. tonight. So that's great. I was already figuring I was going to be here until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So feeling pretty good about that.
Oh, that went off in his hand. Well, he might get fortunate rolling into these balls. He did. That's as good as he could have ever hoped. I don't like what he's doing here. That was.
I would have just drew back there.
That was somewhere between timid and non-committal. That was good stroke though. He doesn't have a 675 Fargo rating because he's a chump. Looks like finally Carl is going to get on the board.
Yeah, that's right. Got Carl. All right, Carl's on the board.
4 games to 1.
Tony's in the tournament
You're very, very important, very, very kind, Lanny. Thanks a million. Thanks for the kind words.
Lenny Valley is a player rep for Team TTMD. Often you'll see him out competing. Composes himself as a sportsman at all times.
Well, here we go.
Matt Clatterbuck to break. Lost the cue ball on the side.
He hit him hard, you see, and I believe that's a mistake, at least the way this table's breaking, the way this table's playing.
The table's so fast, and, the rails are so...
springy.
Yeah, springy. I don't think you need to put all that. You just want to get a nice transfer of energy into the rack. Sometimes I think when you put too much in it, there's so much that's going on in that rack, the balls are just bouncing around, and you lose energy. It doesn't transfer through the rack.
And on a small table, they got no place to go.
That's true too.
They all keep colliding with each other at the middle of the table, and instead of going to their different areas. Well, he needs to make this ball and get out. Good
now,
stroke.
George, after this rack, I'm going to ask you a question about the 10 ball and the 10 ball break.
Okay. I like him coming 3 rails around. No, not to draw a ball. That's dangerous. You can come up short like that. That was ill-construed. He had the ball laying in the pocket. He could have gone 3 rails, even on a short table.
So, Mark, Mr. Andrews, are you down? You live near Q Masters? Were you competing?
That's quite a place, that Q Masters. You ever been there, Wayne?
I have not. Now that's Virginia Beach?
Virginia Beach, yeah. It takes up about half a shopping center, literally. 75 tables. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. Freeze. Oh, he's going to take a break on this note. So that's not unprecedented.
Must not be.
Hey, Edgar, you were going to ask me a question about.
Oh yeah, that's a good time. So obviously, when you're setting up for a 9-ball break, you're either trying to cut break the 9 in the side, or you're playing the wing balls, and the one, if it misses the side, will go down by the opposite corner, and that's kind of the nuance of the 9-ball break and figuring out the speed. Can you tell the viewers what might the secrets be for 10-ball and what you're trying to make on a 10-ball break?
Sure. What happens is that that most people will go about 1 to 2 balls off of the head spot, and they're going to be breaking, and the balls behind the 1 ball are going to go towards the side pockets each time, every time when they're hit flush. Because the balls get forced forward and into that 3rd row, and they have no place to go other than backwards. They catch draw off of that, and the 1 ball will invariably, if the balls are broken left of center, the 1 ball will go up right where that cue ball is sitting now. We watched it over and over again.
Almost rebounds right off of that the second 2 balls, or they force the second 2 balls force it
up there. And with the cue ball in the center, these guys we're back in action here.
Yeah.
but these guys are more than capable of executing the rack. That's going to be a sellout. This is one that you can't get too piggy with. What's he drawing this ball? That's in the hole.
Uh-oh. So Matt up to 5.
That was people fall in love with that draw ball, and he had the cushions.
So Matt saying hi to his folks at home. Mark, since you know him, he's waving to you too, I think. And I know, like you said, he's probably waving to his kids at home.
Yeah, that's me too, Rick. I had both my hips replaced, and I tried to come back in about 2015 or 16. The last real tournament I won was the ACS Seniors in Vegas Reno in 2004.
Carl Morgan to break.
These guys are breaking too hard.
Yeah, really, they're the only ones we've seen breaking dry.
All these balls are all upstream. In other words, past the side pockets. And this
Got
is
these 9-foot breaks going on.
and that's wrong. This is a very good tactical shot there from Matt.
Hit that ball full.
That looked like a good shot, but he isn't going to like it. This is 4 rails with the left-hand ball thin around the horn and back into the drink here,
That's a good call there, George.
Well, that's thank you. That's just some of the shots are fairly obvious, but good hit there.
Oh,
They didn't call that though, I'm
so
sure.
Matt can give it back to him. That's gonna suck.
If he has a 2 in the side, I think he might have the deuce in the side pocket and the tray ball in the open.
I think he straightened that angle out a little bit with a little inside.
Oh yeah.
Because that looked like to me he was going to overcut the ball there.
Oh yeah. He's going to play to the 4 in the side, I think. Might play them both in the side. He's got a perfect shot to drift to the 6. This is routine. Routine as the law allows. Oh, he almost didn't allow for enough of the deflection with that inside ball, drawing it back. Just punched it. Just gonna make a ball here, that's all. Routine.